We're back, guys, with another round of nominations and a backdoor eviction that was underwhelming, to say the least. But we are going to talk about all of that in this episode, and I am super, super excited, and I know you guys are too. So, without much further ado, let's get into it, and let's get on with it, shall we? Let's go. So, nominations this week came off of the back of a very unfortunate incident involving Caroline, Sam, and Nancy. So, we're going to be seeing a lot of their names popping up everywhere. And I have to say, some people's reasonings was very interesting. And it does really feel like some people are not nominating honestly, is all I'm going to say. I feel like maybe they are nominating the people they want to, but they aren't really giving good reasons for them. Does that make sense? They're kind of shielding it behind a veil of, ooh, wow, it isn't really annoying, but like it potentially could be. Anyway, up first was Emily, and Emily was voting for Jenny and for Sam. Now, with the Jenny vote, it was because she lacks awareness surrounding other people's feelings towards friends and family. She's been banging on about the fact that, oh, well, I only had 100 seconds in a call with Mama, so it wasn't actually that much, and I'd like a letter, and I'd like this, and I'd like that. Whereas other people haven't had the same luxury. I thought it was a little bit rich coming from Emily, who obviously was in the house for one night, well, 3 hours technically, and then obviously got sent home for 2 weeks and then came back. But equally, I do feel like it's more of a vote because of her lack of awareness for other people in the house who have been there as long as Jenny have, but haven't had the same luxuries as she has. So that's fair. With Sam, it's because he wasn't willing to delve into the details of what Jenny had been saying about her, whereas Caroline and Nancy were willing to delve into the details. Again, I feel like this was a little bit of a bullshit reason for nominating Sam, but you know what? We'll take it where we can get it. Elsa was up next, and she voted for Sam and for Nancy. Sam because of his constant gossiping and because of the comment that he made about the boring final. I think like I said in the last video, I can't help but kind of agree with him. I think it's more exciting in the final when you've got people that you don't want to win and you have to root against them. Like last year, the final was so unbelievably exhilarating because we had Marcello, who was one of the worst people we've ever had on the show. Well, I say that, but not really, but he was bad. And then you had Ali, who was one of the best that we've had on the show, and she ended up winning. But that was such a nerve-wracking moment when it was just those two people in the house and they were announcing the winner. I want that again for this series because that was what made it such a great ending. Whereas if we just have like 6 really nice people, like we did in the first season of Big Brother UK, well, the ITV version that is, I didn't really feel any way towards anybody winning. Do you know what I mean? I was like, okay, I don't really want Noki or Henry to win. And like Yinren could win, but like again, I'm not massive on her. And then Olivia, I was like, yeah. And then Jordan, I was like, oh, I'd like Jordan to win, but like I'm not desperate for him to win like I was with Ali. So that's what I want from this series. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked so badly. Nancy is the constant rule breaking, and there's just no bond between them, so fair and valid. Caroline was up next, and she voted for Jenny and for Richard. There's no surprise with that second one. With Jenny, she considers Jenny to be a little bit two-faced and a little bit what's the word she used? Guided by other people's opinions on Caroline. I think it was very telling that as soon as Tasia's mum was like, stay away from Caroline, that Jenny was like, ah, oh, that's two mums, like you're screwed, you're fucked, you're done. And then has sort of been cold with her ever since. It almost makes me feel like, and I did agree with what Caroline said, it almost makes me feel like she knows what the public perception is of Caroline and now wants to distance herself because she feels like being with Caroline won't necessarily help her win. So that's just an interesting thing that I picked up on. But then we had Richard, and it's because apparently he's caused her trouble since the start, which whatever Caroline is fine. I believe it's Panto. I know there's plenty of people that don't, but I believe it is Panto. And with the other reason, it was because he's only just started to now get to know her. And I was like, oh, okay, like fine. I don't really know. Let's move on. Richard was up next and he voted for Nancy and for Caroline. Nancy because she claimed in the last round of nominations that she was a germaphobe, but he's watched her do things that are a little bit gross, such as double dipping into like sauces and things like that, and also drinking straight out of a juice carton from the fridge, which I'm sorry, that is gross, okay? Double dipping, if you just forget, fair and valid. We've watched Cameron do it a couple of times this week. Not happy about it. But you know what? I can let that slide. But drinking out of the juice bottle from the fridge, come on, you know that's wrong. Just pour yourself a glass. Come on. It's not that hard. And with Caroline, obviously, I think he knows it's a bit of fun. Obviously, he's like, she's calling me the Antichrist. And she should know better. But I don't believe that she genuinely means it. I think she's just trying to rile me up. And I think I'm glad that he knows that. If it was the case of he was sitting there and he was upset about how he was being treated, then I would have a completely different view on it. But because he's so sort of like, it's just the fun of the game, isn't it? I really do think that it is just fun. And she's just trying to find buttons to press on him because he takes it so well. I don't feel like if she was getting backlash from it, she would continue. But because she's just having fun pressing buttons, she's like a little kid pressing buttons, and Richard's just letting her press the buttons and get away with it. Although he is starting to snipe back a little bit, and that is very interesting to watch. Cameron was up next, and Cameron voted for Sam and for Caroline. Sam because of his game playing comments. Again, I don't feel like that's the end of the world. Today we played the game could have been literally anything, do you know what I mean? It could have been any context, and I don't even remember when it was said, but everyone seems to take it as Sam being like, oh, I'm game playing now. And then the second one was Caroline. It's because of her repeatedly lying about calling him sneaky or something like that. And I don't remember that coming from Caroline, but everyone seems to blame Caroline. So I don't remember. But they are calling him Sneaky Pete now, which is quite funny, to be fair. It's just such a rogue name. Do you know what I mean? Sneaky Pete. I don't know why. Like Stinky Pete from Toy Story, but Sneaky Pete, I don't know where that's come from. Tate was up next, and Tate voted for Sam and for Nancy. Sam because of the whole dish debacle. I mean, Dishgate was particularly annoying to listen to and watch. I was at the eviction for it, and I was just in the audience going, does Tate not have anything better to do than complain about one bowl of beans being left on the side? Like, come on, realistically, is it the end of the world? No. And then with Nancy, it's the rule breaks and also the hypocritical nature of her Richard nom, which I don't remember why she nommed Richard last time, but she did, and I don't know. Tate decided that that was enough to nominate her at the end of the day. Nancy voted for Jenny and for Cameron. Jenny because of the hypocrisy that she displays, the fact that she doesn't like other people talking about her, but she's happy to talk about other people behind their back, namely Emily. That is hypocritical, yes, but equally, I think anybody would be pissed off if you were talking about them behind their back, but everybody does talk about other people behind their back. I don't think there's a single person in that house that has not talked about somebody else behind their back in any way, shape or form. Do you know what I mean? Like, come on, even Richard has at times. Let's be real. And the next one was obviously for Cameron, and that's because he nommed her, but she feels like he misjudged her. Pronouns are difficult when you're like trying to differentiate between everybody. It's tough sometimes. Anyway, I feel like that was fair noms, in my opinion. Caroline nominated her. She's retaliating because she feels like she's been misjudged. Fair and valid. Up next, we have Tasia. Tasia voted for Caroline and for Sam. Caroline and Sam, both of them had the same point of they both come across as paranoid in the house, and that's why they're constantly talking about, oh, we have to make sure we know who doesn't like us so we can retaliate and things like that. But I don't think that Caroline has been chatting shit about Tasia in the house. As far as I'm aware, there's a lot of people she has been chatting shit about, but I don't think Tasia has been one of them, or at least I've not seen that. So I feel like she's really taken the information from her mum in the wrong way. I think she just means that Caroline's just not a very nice person. Not specifically, she is not a nice person to you. That is how I felt about it. I just think that, again, outside information is bullshit. But anyway, moving on. Sam, he licks asses as well. And also, he can come across a little bit two-faced at times. And I was like, you know what, Tasia? Fair and valid. I do agree with you. I think Sam is, first of all, fascinating to watch. Because He is such a bum lick, it's unbelievable. But when he cracks, and it's really fun to watch. And hey, you may hate the trio. I personally think that they're making this show at the moment. They're making this show so watchable purely because I love to root against them. Sam was up next, and Sam voted for Tate and for Marcus, and I was a bit like, why are we voting for Tate and for Marcus? Come on. Oh, like, if you were going to tactically vote, you wouldn't have voted for Sam and for Marcus. You would have voted for Jenny, and you'd have voted for, I don't know, nobody else had the same amount of votes, do you know what I mean? So it was a bit like, or whatever. But Sam, yeah, it was all to do with Dishgate and the bizarre bowl incident and Beangate and things like that. And I was just sat there like, Sam, have we seriously not got anything better to talk about than the fact that Tate and Marcus had a go at you for the bowls? But equally, it's an easy cop-out for noms, in it. It's just an easy cop-out. Marcus was up next, and he voted for Sam and for Nancy. Sam because of his game-playing antics, and this is what I mean by, like, Tate gave the reason of, like, Dishgate, but Marcus is actually given a valid reason of, like, he's being a game player, he's doing this, he's doing that. Like I said in the last episode, I think Marcus is definitely growing on me. It's only taken like 5-6 weeks, do you know what I mean? But he's definitely growing on me, and I actually do like him a little bit more. But do I want to see him leave the house before Caroline and Nancy? Yes, absolutely. I would rather him, Tate, Emily, and maybe even Elsa go before those two. Do you know what I mean? I think I've given away who's gone home, but cheeky and naughty. And with Nancy, it's just more rule breaks than anybody else. I thought that was a bullshit reason because, yeah, she does have the most rule breaks, but equally, most of them are to do with the house, do you know what I mean? So, like, yeah, is what it is. Last but not least, we have Jenny, and Jenny voted for Sam and for Nancy. I mean, no shockers there. I was surprised that Caroline didn't get more votes, but I think people like her more than Sam and Nancy. They see Sam and Nancy as those, like, two Muppets who, like, sit and bitch about everybody, whereas Caroline goes around to every group. And, yeah, she might be fucking annoying at times, but I think most people believe that she is genuinely a nice person. And people have been saying that in confessionals as well. I think the only people that genuinely dislike her at this point are Tasia, and that's it. And maybe Cameron, actually. I don't think Cameron likes her either. And I think even Richard kind of likes her a little bit, do you know what I mean? But her reasons for nominating Sam and for Nancy were basically because Sam said the final's going to be boring without them, and again, I just love that comment's caused so much fire within the group. And then Nancy, because it's been like, what, 6 weeks now, and she's still talking about Jenny, which is hilarious to me. Like, that incident happened in week 3, and they're still chatting shit about her. Craziness, if you ask me. But yeah, that is nominations. We ended up with Sam on 7 votes, Nancy on 5, Jenny and Caroline on 3, Marcus, Cameron, Tate and Richard on 1, and that means that Sam and Nancy are facing the public vote. So it was Tasia's birthday in the house, and I have to say I was a little bit excited to see what they would do for her. And they did throw her a party, but we're going to talk about the party separately. What I want to talk about is Prosecco Gate. Because what we witnessed was Caroline put the Prosecco in the fridge, and then when Tasia couldn't find the bottle, which, well, I was a bit confused why she was looking in the main fridge when it was left out there. So, like, did you think you'd moved it? I was a bit confused there. But anyway, she was like, if they've drunk it, like, I'm not going to cause a fuss, but, like, that's out of order because I said I wanted that for my birthday. And then, obviously, Tate and Marcus go outside and talk to Caroline. She's like, I drunk it. Yeah, I drunk it. I didn't know it was for her birthday. Obviously, she's pranking. When they released the little thing, I was like, oh, Caroline, there's no way you drunk that. There's no way you drunk that. Please say you didn't drink it, because I actually can't sit here and keep being like, oh, I think she's just playing. But she is just playing at the end of the day, isn't she? Is it a weird prank? Yeah, it's a fucking strange one. But equally, I think she's just trying to have fun where she can get it. She obviously didn't drink the Prosecco. It was in the fridge for her, and, like, fair and valid. And I don't know. There was a moment also where Tasia was giving a speech and Caroline interrupted it. I was like, shut up, Caroline. Shut up. Please. You're not helping yourself. You're making it really difficult for me to try and campaign to keep you in the house for the entertainment factor when you're just being a little bit of a dickhead sometimes. God. I feel like if she does go up on a public vote, depending who she's up against, she could stay. But it's not looking good, guys. It's really not looking good. The episode after the nominations was pretty boring, I have to say. There was barely anything to talk about. There was a massive spider that Elsa scooped up and took outside. Then there was conversations around Jenny potentially being a game player, but really it just turns out she's kind of done with this experience and she's just a bit depressed. And then there was a whole challenge where they had to like give snarky comments about each other. So really what we're going to talk about at this point is the eviction. Okay, the backdoor eviction. Now, backdoor evictions are best when they are a complete surprise to not only the housemates, but to the person being evicted themselves. I bring it back to Matty in the Letters from Home challenge, where he read out, "You have been evicted," or Yinrun read out, "You have been evicted," and it turned out to be a letter from Big Brother. That was a mental moment, okay? It was absolutely crazy. It was sensational to watch. I genuinely thought that was like the best thing they could have done with a back door. But equally, I just don't like back doors in general. I would rather them go out to the public. But if they're going to do it like that. We had a couple of examples last year with like the Gunge at Halloween and then like the Vault, which was the worst twist ever. And it was dreadful. And I dread to think what they're going to do next week, because we still have 10 people and we're going to be 8 people after Friday as well. So it's just too many people. All they need to do is get rid of 2 more realistically. But that's still a lot of people going in before Friday. They need a Tuesday eviction. I've said before, if they're going to do 7 weeks rather than 10 weeks, then they need to do a Tuesday and a Friday eviction. And that means if we had 16 people going in, that is 14 evictions. Okay, actually, maybe we don't do every Tuesday. Maybe we just do every other Tuesday. Every other Tuesday there's an eviction. Maybe that would be a bit better. Purely because I just feel like it's a waste of time backdooring people, and then we're not able to watch the feeds, and we're not able to do this. Like, I don't watch the feeds anyway, do I? But like, I haven't got time to spare like that. But it's just frustrating that they have to keep it so on the down low. I'd rather you just tell me in Late and Live. Do you know what I would rather actually? Make Late and Live watchable, evict the housemate on Late and Live, and then we can watch it in the highlights the next day. Hey, I'm okay with that. Personally, I'm fine with it. I'm absolutely fine, because then we get their exit interview directly after they come out the house rather than the night after, which is just ridiculous. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm not going to get too upset about it because there's no point. There's literally no point. So, yeah, it is what it is. Anyway, they were like, "Oh, it's happy fireworks night. Oh, happy eviction night. Woo." And I was like, oh, okay, brilliant. So they know it's an eviction now. Fantastic. There was a conversation earlier on in the day when Nancy and Sam were talking about, is it going to be a backdoor tonight? Nah, I don't think it is. And then in the party, they were like, "Oh, I think we're here for another couple of days." Nope, evicted. And they were made to put on these dodgy firework outfits, right? And I was just sat there like, oh, this is so tacky and so bad. All they needed to do was call Sam to the diary room in the middle of the party and be like, "You have been evicted. Please leave now." That's all they needed to do. Like they did back on whatever series it was with that guy that got called into the party and they were told, "Do not make a sound. Leave now. You have been evicted. We'll announce it to the party later." That would have been perfect. But instead, they have to do this whole show and, oh, press the button and then the fireworks are going to go off. And if it's your colour, then you're evicted and then you have to go. No. Be brutal. Be harsh. Be mean. Get me on there. Honestly, get me on the production team, please. This is a genuine plea to anybody watching from ITV. Get me on the production team, because I will fix your show. I genuinely will fix your show. I will. Because not only will you have event TV again, but the fans will stop complaining. I promise. Like, I actually promise. And don't worry, you can keep the dodgy music at the start of all of your little montages. I'm not against that. Do you know what I mean? I'm fine with that. If you want to make it a little bit Love Island-y, that's fine. But the twists themselves have to be better. They have to be more entertaining. And all of these shit-stirring tasks, few and far between, okay? They don't need to be every episode. They could be like every couple of days. Every time there's like a lull, you could be like, okay, let me put a shit-stirring task in. Go for it. I just feel like it needs a mix-up. And maybe once this season's done, I'm going to do a video. I mean, my mate Ryan, well, I say mate, online friend Ryan on Twitter, is very, very vocal about what he wants to fix and what should be fixed. So maybe I'll do a video similar to that. He normally does like a Twitter post, but like I'll probably do a video explaining my thoughts. But yeah, stuff needs to be done. Stuff needs to be sorted out, because I don't think the housemates are the issue. There is no problem with the housemates, okay? So yes, some of them are boring, but like they make the entertainment at the end of the day. And for the most part, their entertainment has been good. But the lack of rule break punishments, the lack of like good twists, the fact that we're still having to do backdoors, the fact that we brought people in, the fact that there's outside information, is just not making a cohesive environment for everybody. And that's how Sue sees it. Anyway, thank you guys very, very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed today. And I will see you guys in the next episode, whenever that may be. But until then, make sure to keep on ranting. And I will see you guys later. Bye now. See ya.